I am live. YouTube says I'm live, so I'm going to go with it and say that I'm live. Hi. Hi. Oh, it looks like I'm the only one in the room, but I'm a little early. If you're watching this later, I jumped in a few minutes early because sometimes I don't want to wait. It's just bottled water. I'm not getting drunk for YouTube streams unless I'm doing drunk tarot, and I only did it once. I don't plan on doing it again anytime soon. Hello, Don. How you doing, sweetheart? How are you? Welcome to our schmooze time, as you are familiar with. I just watched What We Do in the Shadows. It's the best show on television. I am standing by it, and I'm developing a crush on Guillermo. Season 2 Guillermo. Season 1 Guillermo, not so much, but Season 2 Guillermo, yeah. He's manning up. I'm kind of digging it. He's way too young for me, but no, not bad for somebody with Van Helsing blood. Doing great. Love this morning. Good. I'm glad you're getting some good stuff out of it. I'm just sharing what works for me. That to me is a spiritual teacher, somebody who shares what works for them and teaches by example. All right. So all of us should be doing it. Let's not say should. All of us could be doing that if it's our calling to do so. But I have a big caveat with that. I mean, I have a platform to do it. So people, you know, are following along because they were drawn, or, you know, I helped them with something I said or did. But it's very different than proselytizing and, you know, jamming information in people's eyes and down their throats. You know what you should do? No. Good evening, Grace. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. I'm really kind of hi, sweetheart. Hi, Mari. I have to say, as rough as this has been on me psychically, and I just don't mean the, you know, psychic, I mean like on my psyche, what we're going through. I have to say that the healing has been extraordinary, meaning out of the ordinary. I guess, you know, extraordinary times call for extraordinary healing. Thank God for Matt Kahn. I mean, I know I talk about him a lot. I'm not exactly a fanboy. I don't like that term anyway. I don't like the word fanatic. Hello, Donna. Hi, Donna. But I recommend his work. And look, I found him through YouTube. I mean, nobody told me about him. He literally showed up. The first video I ever saw of his was the one on soul contracts. Soul contracts, twin flames, and soulmates redefined. And I was like, all right, because I hated those words, right? Twin flame, soulmate. It's just, they're so vague, and they just sounded like spiritual codependence to me. But the way he laid it out, I was like, okay, I don't know who your guides are, but I like you and I like them. They're so clarifying, and just, you know, when something rings like a bell in your soul when you feel truth. So, you know, the thing is, he's just a teacher. He's a really good teacher. But obviously he has been to hell and back, which I find very attractive in a man, let alone in a teacher. He's been through it, been through the ringer, so so there's resonance there. But that he really shares what works for him. And, you know, I've never joined his Angel Academy. I bought some of the things on his website. His website's really great. There's a lot of interactive stuff you can do there, a lot of things you can download, and classes and stuff. I'm part of Project Resolution, which is the first Thursday of the month. He does an audio stream kind of thing, a webcast. And I really look forward to it. He's great. It's like applying what he teaches to resolve things on planet Earth, not just, you know, your own individual stuff, although that's part of it too. But like the wildfires in Australia, and of course dealing with what we're going through right now. I still have to be very careful about what I say on YouTube in terms of the current situation on planet Earth. And I really believe in YouTube's community guidelines that way. I think You know, you can find just crazy, wacky stuff. Not that you won't find that on YouTube. You can find that on YouTube. It's just they won't monetize you for it, right? And their partnership program has really good guidelines, so I'm down with that. I'm totally cool with it. You know, it's funny. People think I'm such a rebel. I'm like, yeah, but I've always gotten along with administrations as long as they were fair. You know, as long as they were decent. I'm not asking for a handout. I work PDH pretty damn hard for to get where I am on YouTube. So, you know, that's what they ask of me during this time, to, you know, not even say the name of it. I'm okay with that. I'm just okay with that. It's fine. It's fine. That's not really what I'm here for anyway. I'm here to share spirituality and healing and processes, and that's one of the things we're going to do tonight for sure. I'm gonna share with you some stuff about creativity, good fortune, indirect manifestation, which we touched on briefly this morning in our conversations. Yeah, so I'm psyched for that. I've got candles lit. Why? Because the moon is in Leo. Yay! Oh, that Cancerian moon. I mean, if any of you just track the moon signs, right, as the moon changes signs, you could tell what days I started to disappear. I'm like, I'm burnt out, I'm fried, because I'm empathing the world. I'm just empathing everybody's everything, crying my eyes out. It's so funny though. It never hits me as anger, like maybe frustration with a computer or a technological thing. But I don't even get angry at politics as much as it just breaks my heart, right? And I cry. So, you know, that's me. That's how I'm wired in this life, or that's how the character of Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, is written, and I'm okay with it. I embrace it. And by the way, it's on his new book is really good, Matt Kahn, but his second book, Everything is Here to Help You. I guess I'm that bad at names. I can't even remember the title of a book that I'm reading, but I can remember What We Do in the Shadows. It is the best show on TV. I know it's vampire comedy, which is a little niche, but it's so good. Mom and I just texting our way through the whole thing. Really a great show if you get the chance to watch it on FX. Hello, Lorraine. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, 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 hi. So yeah, we're still kind of doing our schmooze time. I like to give 10-15 minutes for people to jump in the room and say hi to each other. But we're gonna say a little prayer just to bring ourselves into alignment. Alignment with what? Alignment with our highest wisdom, right? Our chill, relax. You know, I used to take Abraham Hicks's thing that you could tell by your alignment by how good you feel, right? Hello, D. But now I like Matt Kahn's version of it much better. He goes, you find your alignment, you know your alignment by how relaxed you are. And it's like, oh, so that's so much easier. So much easier, you know? And by the way, I'm going through all of this completely sober, right? That's how I know I'm not an alcoholic. I have alcohol in the house that I haven't touched. You know, there are no drugs in my house except for Alka-Seltzer, maybe some Tylenol, maybe some NyQuil, Dayquil, but that's it. I'm doing this completely sober. And I guess, you know, with the empathic part of it, it might be easier, but it's just delaying the inevitable. So I'm glad to do my part, you know. I had a nice long talk with my mom today, and you know, she was talking to my my sister Hillary, and she's like, you know, Hillary's got her daughter Rose. That's my niece, large family, right? And my brother is working. You know, he's got an essential job, so he's working. And my older stepbrother Scott has got his son with him. She's like, Mark, you're the one we're all worried about because you're living alone. And it was very touching, but I kind of tried to explain to her, it's like, I'm not really alone. You guys have really, like, don't discount your involvement in my life, even though many of us have never met. I'm just even looking at this room. I've only been in the same physical space with 2 or 3 of you, just looking up and down this list, you know, in the same place at the same time. I guess I've known Don the longest because he's the father of one of my dearest friends. I won't say oldest friends, but one of my dearest friends. I've known his son Brian since 1998, 99, maybe 2000. I don't know. Time, right? So, so yeah, you guys have helped me. As I know, people are like, oh, you helped me so much, and these live streams and the videos are so helpful. But you know, none of this happens in a vacuum, right? We are all in this together. Love the Love Boat comment in the story. Yeah, not on the spirit. I actually got that from Caroline Mace. She said, it's not a pleasure cruise. That's what she said. She goes, spirituality is not a pleasure cruise. I think maybe I took that the extra step instead, that it wasn't the Love Boat, it was the Poseidon Adventure. And they made not a sequel, they made a remake of it, but I was raised on the Shelley Winters version, the original from the 70s. And Ernest Borgnine in that too. Good God. See, that I remember. It's so weird as you get older, the things you remember and the things you forget. Reciprocity with this group. Yeah, we're all in this together. Oh, thank you, Mari. We're all helping each other through this time, and it's just weird. I mean, I've said it before, I will say it again. I feel like I was born to do this. Like, not just this YouTube stuff. Like, I was born for this time that we're in. It just very much feels that way. So I'm glad to share what's working for me. I sat down today and I wrote out the format for the spiritual practice videos that I'm going to do, because we do some of them here, but these are like hours, like an hour long, usually average an hour long, these streams, because it is, we chat, we have a good time. It's Gene Hackman. Yeah. Gene Hackman too. But I really want to like distill some of the spiritual practices, because I know so many of them, seeing how many of them Spirit wants to update through me as we do them. So I'm going to start working on those tomorrow. I don't know how many of them I'll do. I'm going with my creativity. And that's why I wanted to wait until the moon was in Leo to do that. So if we are ready, why don't we take a few deep breaths and we'll say a little prayer, and we'll see what happens. You ready? We good? Can't wait to see it. Good. I'm creatively engaged, because I mean, I know so many of them. I know so many spiritual practices and prayers. Like, that's like, some of them are going to be prayers, some of them are going to be meditation. Hold on a second. I have my outline. Come here, right here. So if you want a little sneaky peek, hold on. Where is it? There you are. So I always have like a little checklist that I prop up in front of the camera that no one can see when I do the recordings. So the first thing will be a welcome. The second will be how this works. And I'm going to explain to people how this works. And how it works is that we'll always start with a prayer. We'll do like a mini class explanation, because there won't be a chat function. So it'll just be me talking to the camera. You know, not an hour, just like a couple of minutes just to explain what it is that we're doing. Like, if we're going to do a thing on chakras, I'll explain what chakras are briefly. Then the meditation, the practice, whatever it is, and then a cool down and a closing prayer. So it is structured. I'm a Virgo. I like to have a little bare bones of an outline when I do stuff, because that's part of the creativity for me. Hello, Lavola, my love, my Lavola, my Lavola. Cool. All right, so let's do this. Everybody get comfy. I'm going to be drinking water throughout. It really is my secret to my young looks, is I stay hydrated and I drink good water. So let's breathe. Nothing too heavy duty. I Wim Hofed myself so many times today. I don't have to do it again right now. But just to settle in. And speaking of getting into alignment, say a prayer to get into alignment. Get yourself into physical alignment if you can, right? We are going to be visualizing, meditating for part of this, so you might as well just sort of orient yourself physically, right? And this is the evening one, so one could be watching this, you know, at any time. But if you're watching it live right now, take the time to really relax, get the body. I have my feet on the floor, but if you're sitting cross-legged or, a yoga pose or laying flat, whatever you're doing, just scan the body. I think of it as very primary self-care, to just scan the body from head to toe, right? Do the zones of your body. Oh, like yawn is good. Really good yawn. Just to stretch the face muscles so they can just sort of, you can even let your jaw hang open if you want. The shoulders dropped. Become aware of your breath so that the rib cage is free to move. You'll know if you have anything on too tight, if you breathe and you feel the constriction in your clothes, right? Let your arms drop. I like to do a little, like, make a fist, let it go, make a fist, let it go, make a fist, let it go. It's called tense and release, which you can do with all of the major muscle groups in your body. Just as a loving thing you can do for your own body. And now do focus on the breath. We're not going into meditation, but we might as well relax. If relaxation really is a good measurement of our alignment with the soul, then focusing on the breath for a minute can only help. Help with alignment, help with relaxation. And as you breathe, I offer this prayer. Dearest God, Goddess, all that is, we surrender this time spent together to you. I ask you to please send our collective guides, masters, teachers, gods, goddesses, saints, angels, totems, healers, and ancestors to surround us in a loving force field of light containing and protecting the work we shared together this evening. I ask that all information that exchanges between us, both in the physical as well as in the non-physical, does so clearly, cleanly, and for the highest good of all concerned, because we are here only to be truly helpful. We are here to represent the divine that sent us. We don't have to worry about what to say or what to do, because the divine that sent us is directing us, and so we're content to go wherever they wish in this conversation, knowing that they go along with us and that we will be healed as they consistently teach us to heal. We ask, please show us what you would have us do, where you would have us go, what you would have us say, even unto ourselves and to anyone else, that we may be the best that we can be, that we can fulfill our roles in the divine plan, that we can have fulfilling lives, no matter what's going on in the world in front of our eyes, that we are so respectful of what's happening to the world behind our eyes. Aware, responsive, caring, loving, nurturing to ourselves, regardless of the politics or what's going on with the people around us, or even if we are isolated. Even more so, that we use our own creativity in tandem with you, God, Goddess, all that is, to recreate ourselves as you would have us do for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Take your time. I lit the candles because it's Leo moon. You can always tell well, if you can't tell what sign the moon is in, you can at least tell what element it's in. Although I always have water on the table and always crystals everywhere, but I do like to dress things up. I just love how the candlelight plays on the statues behind me. Look at Apollo and Hermes and Zeus and Eros there. I have goddesses on the top shelf, but you can't really see them. You can see some of the jewelry up there, some of the totemic jewelry I wear when I do readings. By the way, if you only watch like the same signs over and over and over, seems like I always wear the same jewelry. I change jewelry for every reading that I do so that it reminds me. Really, it's a mnemonic device to remind me what sign I'm doing, because when I start shuffling and bringing in the energies, I'm like, where am I? What day is this? Right? Oh, right. And I'm not wearing any right now. So that's how I keep myself tuned to the zodiacal gestalt, sun, moon, rising, whatever I add on to it after that. So let's talk a little bit about creativity. I'm an artist. I mean, I went to a performing arts high school for half the day called the Board of Cooperational Educational Services, also known as BOCES, Cultural Arts Center in Syosset. It's not called that anymore. Now I think it's called Long Island High School for the Performing Arts or something. I'm an alumna, but I didn't get the message on that. I had to find that out through friends. But even before that, I studied at Arena Players in Farmingdale. I went to USDAN for musical theater for 3 years. I went to the Boston Conservatory. I've studied a lot. So I'm an artist. I mean, pretty much born. I mean, even when I was a little kid. I mean, my mom was a nursery school teacher, but the visual arts were never my thing. But creativity always has been. Writing in particular, I am a wordsmith. I'm not a poet. I can write things that rhyme, particularly spells. I'm very good at writing rhyming spells. But creativity has always been a part of my life. And I think it's not a big shock. I'm the gay one in my family. I'm the creative one, the creative, sensitive one. I mean, obviously, everybody has their own form of creativity. If you ever read the work of Carolyn May's Sacred Contracts, she talks about that everybody has a creative family archetype. Mine is the artist, which is sort of obvious. But there are many different types of art and creativity. And like, for instance, the networker archetype is the creative family. The athlete is the creative family because they create their bodies and they create, you know, so when we think of creativity, people usually think of the visual or the performing arts, but then there's the culinary arts. And just because you're not, you know, a chef doesn't mean that can't be a way that you express your creativity. My mom obviously is an artist, but she's a Cancerian. One of the ways she does it is through her home. Her home is her art, right? Bodybuilders, right? There are so many different ways that our creativity flows through us. But I have to say, I really specialized in this life, particularly in reality creation, learning how to create reality. And that has changed for me drastically over the past 3 years. I studied universal law. I was tempted to write a book called The Universal Lawyer, sort of a how-to / autobiography. But then after these past few years of watching how the universal laws didn't really operate the way I was taught they did. And, you know, if you bring this up with somebody who's a diehard law of attraction person, they'll argue it forever, right? They get really upset if you start questioning that the laws work the way that they're taught, even though they're not manifesting the things that they want, which is really interesting, right? It's like they're so identified with it that to even question it, they get very upset. It's like, okay, well, we don't have to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about TV, right? Let's change the subject. So I'm not interested in getting into it with anybody on that stuff. I'm just expressing my thing. And what happens is when people learn an outmoded, let's put it that way, an outmoded means of manifestation, and they're not manifesting what they want, the ego takes it as, oh, I must be doing it wrong. And it uses universal law as a way to beat ourselves up, which is why I say jokingly, but kind of to make a point, okay, who put this global situation on their vision board? Who was visualizing this? Who just wanted more time to themselves and not to go to work? No, nobody did. Nobody did that. This isn't the manifestation of our collective negativity as some would think it. No, No, this is something that was written into the divine script, one of many different scenarios that could have played itself out, that's all taking us essentially to the same place in terms of unity consciousness, in terms of us all getting that we are all united. Wouldn't you say the time we are going through, we're really getting, wow, we are all one, right? We are all one, and in a very visceral, literal way, if you get what I'm saying. So, you know, to have at least the conversation with yourself about reality creation. To some people, they don't even know that idea, the idea of you create your own reality, therefore you co-create your reality. It's like, what are you talking about? No, I don't. And I'll be honest with you, for the longest time, I saw it as one of two options. You're either a victim of circumstance or you create your own reality. But then what happened is the ego, doing the best that it can, interpreted every bad thing that it termed bad when it didn't get what it wanted or was painful or suffered in any way. It took responsibility for it. Oh, I'm doing it wrong, or I did this to myself, particularly in terms of any kind of illness or discomfort or problem that showed up in the world. There's this sort of annoying oversimplification of, if you spot it, you've got it, taking the process of looking at the world as a mirror to this extreme oversimplified place where we end up sort of abusing ourselves, right? So if somebody's mean to us, oh, well, I must have meanness in me somewhere. And, you know, I taught that for years until I really was kind of like, yeah, no, that's not how it is. I also studied the seven Essene mirrors through the work of Greg Brayton. The seven Essene mirrors are from the Dead Sea Scrolls. We're going to talk about old stuff, right? So, you know, this thing, it's not very loving, right? In other words, a lot of this law of attraction, and I don't pick on Abraham Hicks. I think Abraham Hicks, whatever you want to call Abraham, whatever that is, I think they have put out really clearly. It's like, well, you just relax, just relax. You can't get it wrong because you never get it done. Like certain things that I've heard from them, like they have not changed their message on that. So I'm not like pointing fingers necessarily at teachers. I'm looking at what has happened in the spiritual community over the decades, particularly after the rise of The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Now, I did recommend The Secret, both the movie and the book, when it first came out, as a beginning block, right? As like the ABCs, like a good toe dipper. But then, of course, it became the cosmic cash machine, right? It became, oh, I can manifest anything I want. And we went a little power mad. But if it worked the way it was supposed to work, wouldn't we all be in nirvana by now? Would there still be poverty on the planet? Would there be any illness on the planet? No. So something's off there, right? Something's off. And then, of course, when I went through, oh, God, the moving of my house from my home from Bayshore to Holbrook, which was traumatic. If any of you have ever been to the house in Bayshore, Broomhaven, I mean, I loved it. It was on the water. I mean, trees. I had my own garden. My cat could go outside. You know, we didn't have to worry about traffic. It was just lovely. It was idyllic. Granted, I lived in an antique. Winters were rough because the north wind would come and blow all the heat out of the house. But when my mom said to me, my knees, Mark, I can't take it anymore. I was like, oh, you don't have to say anymore, Mom. I'm like, sell it. And of course, I love my home. I love where I am right now in Holbrook. So nothing to complain about there. Elysia, I named my home after the Elysian Fields, essentially the spa section of the underworld, because I spend so much time in the underworld. I was like, let's just live in the spa section. But then, you know, the dissolution of the Silver Broom, which just killed me. It just ripped me to shreds, all of that. And the accusations that were said behind my back, I did my best. I really did. I still get a little upset at the betrayals that went on before, during, and after that I had nothing to do with. I was just doing my best and was completely honest with everybody. And I'm not playing victim. I'm just saying it couldn't have happened any other way. And then the nightmare that happened after that. And then, of course, Farm Boy and all of these things. You know, you take one of them at a time. You could say, oh, well, maybe it wasn't meant to go that way. But I'm sure a lot of you have gone through something similar in your life over the past, what, couple of decades, right? Really, yeah, got to let that go, right? Got to keep moving forward. But to kind of get, okay, so if I create my own reality, and I've been studying universal law and reality creation, I'm really got this wrong. Like I'm doing something wrong. I love the Silver Broom was my church. I know we did a lot of great work there. All that rises falls, though. It did what it was supposed to do. It completed its mission as far as I'm concerned. And technically, I don't even think I'm a minister there anymore. They might have written me out of the book. I don't really care. I don't care if I ever marry somebody again. If I really have to marry somebody, like if somebody like begs me and pays me enough, weddings suck. Officiating weddings, it was lovely for like 15 years. I never have to do it again. It's fine. Baby blessings are fine. You've got nothing wrong, right? You've done nothing wrong. It's the truth. You just play things out. But to really step back and go, okay, so then is it true that there is a law of attraction? And yes, there is a law of attraction, but we've been dealing with the ego's version of it, which means that the soul's version of it is probably 180 degrees opposite. And that's the difference between creating your reality and co-creating your reality. The way that we co-create our reality, that's why we're talking about creativity and good fortune. To be fortunate is we co-create our reality by the narrative that we give our experience. Because we do it anyway. The story that you tell yourself, the reasons why things happen the way they do, which I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10 have gone unexamined or total fiction, right? And then we just upgrade our fiction from blame to someone or something in the outside world to spiritual fiction and fantasy, right? Oh, because in a past life I stepped on an ant and that's why I stubbed my toe today. What? Crazy. Crazy. Completely unfounded. And by the way, blaming things on past lives, that's scapegoating your own soul. There's no point in that at all. And even if it's true, who cares? You can't know for sure. So the ego wants what it wants. You're absolutely right, Chris. And to get then that the soul has a totally different perspective. So this is something that, again, I picked up from Matt Kahn. I mean, really, if I ever meet him, I'm going to compliment him on his sweater vests. He must have quite the collection of them. I haven't worn a sweater vest since I was 13 years old. Bless his soul. He is younger than me, and it's funny. I have an older brother named Matt. His name is Matt, but he's younger than me. So it's like I feel like I have this younger brother, Matt. And I don't want to tease him. I'm sure he can handle it, though. He's been to hell and back, as I said. But he kind of laid it out in this very heart-centered way, saying, yeah, there is a law of attraction, but this is how it works. It takes the emotions that you're feeling. Your soul takes that emotion and communicates it to the law of attraction for the universe to bring you more experiences to influence you to feel that way, right? Have you noticed that if you start the day, like let's imagine, you get out of bed in the morning and you put a foot on the ground and you step in cat barf. It's happened. In socks, which, good morning, right? Now, in that moment, I could see in the old way of doing it, it's like, oh no, get back into the vortex, get back into enlightenment. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. That's spiritual bypassing. No. To respect that feeling of, oh my God, where to the point where you can really make yourself laugh about it. It's just like, okay, it's going to be one of those days, is it? Instead of that spiritual superstition of now, oh no, the rest of the day is going to be this way. No, it's all the narrative that you give it, right? But you can certainly see if you go into a place of anger and frustration, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep that narrative going, you're going to keep feeling that way. The universe is going to keep giving you more of that, not as a punishment. See, that's the other thing. That punishment reward thing is so childish, and that's not what it's about. It's about saying, and it's not saying, here, you asked for this, here's some more. It's not that. The universe isn't stupid, and the universe isn't malicious. It's teaching you something, right? So, like with this current situation that we are all in, but I will keep it in the eye, I have been experiencing loneliness. It's understandable. I live alone. But I wasn't experiencing so much loneliness 2 months ago, right? And that's what makes me question. It's like, well, okay, but this is how I was living my life anyway. And it has to do with the truncation of freedom. That it's one thing to do it voluntarily, which is voluntarily. I see it as mandatory for my own health and safety, mind you. But it's definitely, there's more of a fear element there. I think that's a cool way to say it, right? So then really the empathic part of it came very, very clearly to me. It's like, oh, I'm not just clearing loneliness out of my own cell tissue, out of my own energy field, my own emotional baggage. I'm clearing it for thousands of people, right? Cat barf at 6 in the a.m. is worse, especially if it's fresh, hot and fresh, particularly if you're wearing wool socks. Just oh yeah. So here's where our creativity, like once we get that, it's like, oh, it's not a punishment. I'm not doing it wrong. I'm being taught how this actually works, right? And it doesn't mean that all of the teachers were lying, and it doesn't mean that all of those previous teachers were stupid, or even if they were wrong. What they taught was true for the time, right? We all have to start where we start. We all draw to ourselves, talk about law of attraction, we all draw to ourselves the information that we're ready for at any given time. No problem, Bridge. How you doing, sweetheart? We are, so sure, what we had to go through with Rhonda Byrne and The Secret and Abraham Hicks, and by the way, I mean, how far back you want to go back? The Emerald Tablets, the Bible, as a man thinketh, so he shall be, which I think is more of a psychological truth, right? That if you're thinking angry thoughts, you're going to be angry, right? If you're thinking thoughts of persecuting other people, you're going to become a persecutor, right? It's just how it works. And does that have an effect on the physiology? Yes, of course it does. Every thought, every emotion manifests a chemical in the body. We know that. That's not even tinfoil hat woo land. That's biochemistry, right? That's psychology. That's why people take medications, right? To Xanax and whatnot, you know, to, well, either legal or illegal, right? To modify their body chemistry to feel something different. I get it. I'm doing the Wim Hof breathing. I'm just doing it through more natural, controllable means that way, right? Really has helped with the feelings of depression, but also breathing through it, doing rebirthing, so I'm not bypassing anything. Hey, I'm okay. I was praying for Patty's test tomorrow. Got it, sweetheart. So taking all of this into consideration then, to really look at, well, then creativity, if we do co-create our reality, and a big part of that is through the narrative that we give, then let me choose an evolving narrative. Let me change up the story, right? Did you ever hear that? Well, I want to change up the story. Let's change up the story a little bit. Everything is happening to make me better, maybe uncomfortable, maybe unfamiliar, but it is a different lens to look at your life through. That it's happening, the Course in Miracles would say, it's happening for you, not to you, right? So it's not a punishment. The world is not against you, but nor are you the commander of the universe, right? Nor are you in control. Can you imagine if you had to be in control of everything that happened? Like just in your own body, you wouldn't be able to move. You'd be like, okay, liver, pancreas, kidney, breathe, flow, circulate, brain activity. No. We have unconscious nervous systems, right? The autonomic nervous system, you know, the parasympathetic nervous system, all that stuff. When you do the extra breath work, are you doing the retention? Yes, I am. Oh, yeah. I do it in the morning before I have coffee or anything. I do it on an empty stomach, usually upstairs in bed. Like I'll get up, I'll go to the bathroom, I'll get back into bed, and I'll do at least 3 rounds. But then throughout the day, when I feel the hunch to do it, or it's just, or if I have to do, if I'm going to do a video and I'm feeling a little sluggish, and if it's a choice between another cup of coffee or a couple of rounds of Wim Hof, I'll try the Wim. But sometimes I just do it because I feel it. That conscious breath work has just been a part of my spiritual path. So I find the Wim Hof method fascinating because it's been researched by scientists, right? That's my people, right? Like I come from doctors and lawyers and teachers, right? So I kind of like that. I have 2 new fan art for you in the next. I haven't showed my mom the fan art that you did for me, Chris, because I don't think she's ready. I don't think she's ready to see it. I sent it to my Aquarian tech friend. He goes, "Oh, you've arrived." So that was very, very sweet of you. It made me blush. Like, you'd think Mark blushes. I mean, I have this joke. I would blush if I still could. I can still blush. I still have that. I still have that blushing bride feeling about me, that not so fresh feeling every now and again. But now here's the thing: indirect manifestation, which we're going to end with a little visualization meditation thing. So here's how we can participate with the creative. We talked about it a little bit this morning. I figured this would be a good opportunity. Moon is in Leo, 5th house, pleasure, creativity, good fortune, to just start practicing and playing with it. Part of the thing I think that derailed, and I'll keep it in the eye, myself with a lot of the law of attraction stuff, is I took it way too seriously. I made it work, right? And even Abraham, and I'm only using them as the example because that's really what I studied. Remember, I did Ho'oponopono. I studied a lot of different stuff. I mean, Hermetic magic, witchcraft, Scott Cunningham's Book of Shadows. I mean, a lot of stuff on magical law. Really, I could have been a magical lawyer. I was a magical lawyer. But I took it way too seriously, and that sort of makes everything really serious. Would make sense. The universe gives you more serious to deal with, and none of it really matched how I really wanted to feel. And that's the point of indirect manifestation. Indirect manifestation is about conjuring an emotion and holding it long enough so that it becomes familiar to your subconscious, like relaxation, like take an affirmation or a mantra. Everything's working out for me. That's like Abraham Hicks 101. Everything's always working out for me. Now, the reason why I don't do affirmations is because I did way too many of them. Way too many affirmations. You say them to acquaint the subconscious mind, not just with the thought, but with the feeling, right? The emotion of it. Then the subconscious takes that feeling, transmits it to the soul puts it out into the universe, and the law of attraction brings you more people, places, things, circumstances, ideas, ideas or things, so that you feel that more often, builds sort of a momentum. So, it's really about how you feel, and then you can visualize anything. But one thing they've always said, and this is true in spell work, this is true with law of attraction, this is true with Ho'oponopono, you have to release the outcome. How many of you heard you have to release the outcome? We got some chuckling there. I'm in awe with how I feel, and it's only a month. You talk about the Wim Hof method. I know that's really quite amazing stuff. There's a bit of a lag here. It's fine. I don't care. It's a blessing to be able to do this. So you have to let go of the outcome. That's what I think derailed us so much for the past, 10, 15, 20 years, is you can visualize whatever you want, but if you're trying to make it happen, it just creates static on the channel, right? It doesn't feel good. And what's Abraham's big message? And I'm just going to refer to them because those are probably the best known. You've got to feel good. right? You got to feel good. That's what they call being in the vortex, is feeling good, right? But you can't feel good all the time without doing that emotional bypassing stuff, which I'm done with that. I will cry when I need to cry. I'm going to respect the emotions that come up. I'm going to acknowledge when I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling frustrated, when I'm feeling lonely, because that's allowing the ego to unwind. That's allowing the ego to dissolve. That's the inner child work, right? So on one hand, we've got the inner child work really being authentic, which is, I think, why people gravitate towards me. I'm authentic because I'm authentic with me, right? I try and be diplomatic. Lord knows I could be acerbic if I wanted to. I have the vocabulary for it. I could even be over pedantic. I love the word pedantic. Look it up. You'd be like, oh, it's a really good word for that, pedantic. But at the end of the day, and the beginning and the middle and all through the day, I am a hedonist. I want to feel good. I mean, I didn't take the path less traveled to suffer more, and yet in some ways I've suffered more than people who took the road more traveled. Why, thank you, Mackie Haas, really cool name. $5 hippopotamus super chat. Bless your heart. Hail, farewell, and blessed be. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, right? Rock and roll. Rock and roll. So this is what we're going to do, and I don't care if we run over. I try and keep my eye on this thing so none of us are up too much past our bedtimes, but tough. What we're going to do is I'm going to set you up with a guided visualization kind of thingy hoo-ha doodah, right? Just to get us in a place. But before we do it, I want you to pick, like, what's an emotion that you would like to feel that's not so out of range. Like, I would love to feel blissful ecstasy. Like, you know, when we do the praise, gratitude, love thing, which is, by the way, a good way to shift yourself into that better feeling place. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? If you're at a 2, don't shoot for 10, right? What is something, instead of what do you want to manifest in terms of a physical form, how do you want to feel? Like, what's an emotion that you could feel that's not that far away? And I like the words ease. Like, I like feeling easy like a Sunday morning. I'd love to be walking on sunshine. You can probably tell I listen to a lot of music in my off time. But I do know what I want to feel, and I don't think it's that far away. And I know pretty much some of the imagery I can conjure to feel how I want to feel, and I'm going to keep that to myself. There is something about sometimes keeping you know, a part of my, and you know, the mind can be really tricky. The ego can be tricky. It's like, well, what I want to manifest feels this way, so let me choose something that feels that way. And there's some wisdom in that. But then if you're always keeping your eye out for the thing that you're trying to manifest, it literally gets frustrating. So you get more things to feel frustrated about. So to just be gentle with this. Hello, High Priestess. Hello, my New Zealand High Priestess. I know you just jumped into the room. Bear with us. You might want to go back and watch this puppy from the beginning. But I want you to think of a way you would like to feel, either emotion or a feeling, that we're going to visualize it individually so that we can feel it for a couple of minutes. And begin, this is the process. This is why you can do this over and over and over again. You don't always have to visualize the exact same thing. But if you're not feeling it regularly, which would indicate it's something that you want to feel more of, then it does take a little bit of practice so that the subconscious mind puts it in the familiar category rather than the unfamiliar category. Because once it's in the familiar category, it will start literally, like a machine, start looking for those situations that will bring that to you. So not only will universal law be bringing you more things to kind of move you in the direction of feeling that, but it will start turning your head at the right moment, or you turn on the radio at a certain point and hear that song that triggers that feeling. Because, and this is Abraham Hicks 101, the only reason you want anything is because you believe you will feel a certain way. if you have those things. So indirect manifestation is not about making something happen out here. It's about more of an emotional momentum, but you're never going to be able to get rid of what you consider all bad emotions or bad feeling emotions. It doesn't work that way. Those emotions are necessary for our growth. So this isn't about avoiding our feelings. This isn't about bypassing. This isn't about repression, suppression, any of that. Ever. It's about saying, I would like to feel more of this. I would like to feel more of this, because the more you feel those feelings that are uncomfortable, your ego is dissolving. You're actually healing, and we've talked about it so often. You're clearing things from your energy field, from your cell tissue, and from the energy field of the planet. Cool. So please take a moment. Please take a moment and get yourself comfortable. We're going to visualize. We're going to meditate. And if we run over, because right now where I am, it's 11:48. So if we go past midnight, I don't care. It is what it is. So please get yourself comfortable in a position you can stay in for a couple of minutes. Close your eyes and breathe. I've said that, it feels like thousands of times in my career. And I do ask my guides to take the wheel and do this. Call upon the universe to make this visualization meditation thingy amazing and wonderful for the well-being of all. Do it on my behalf. Speak every word. That I am now. And so it is. Breathe. And again, let the body relax. We're going to engage our creativity in a very simple way. And this is a meditation format that I've used for decades. I'd like you to just, chances are you're sitting in a chair or laying down, it's all fine. Imagine that you are either in a movie theater by yourself, or if you have a home movie system or something like that, or if you don't, imagine you do. Perhaps it would be more comfortable for you to imagine this in your own home. So imagine I have a large screen TV, so I'm going to do it like I'm literally across the room from where it is. So I'm looking at the screen. And if you're not a big visualizer, it's okay. There's something I learned from my high school speech teacher, Patty Bays Mariano, bless her heart. She said, if you can't, pretend you can. She was a speech teacher. If you can't, pretend you can. So just pretend. Just pretend. Pretend you're looking at a large screen TV or a movie screen, a movie theater. And the name of the show, the movie that you're watching, is the name of the emotion that you want to feel. Got it. So up come the credits, and there's the name of the emotion. And now you get to be the writer and the director. What's on that screen? You don't have to be in the movie. You can just look at the images. You can write yourself in it later if you want, but what's the setting? Day or night? Indoors, outdoors? Just start with the basics. And again, if you don't visualize it, that's okay. Pretend. Pretend it's there. Use your creativity that way. And start bringing in some of the more sensual aspects. And what I mean by sensual, I mean the five senses, right? You've already got sort of what it looks like. What does it sound like? Like if you're at the ocean, you're going to hear the waves, right? The seagulls, the birds. If you're indoors, what music's playing, if any? Or is it silent? Is it quiet? Now, you don't have to overthink it. Just be very light about it, very relaxed about it. Like you're not trying, you're just pretending. Not trying to get it right, you're just playing. And what does it feel like in terms of the temperature? Like as if you were to be there. Like pop into the TV screen or the movie screen. What does it feel like? What does it feel like? What's the air like? Are there scents? Just be gentle with it. Who else is there? And it doesn't have to be anybody specific. You can just feel their presence. Just imagine they're there. And if there's no one there, then what's your monologue? What's the thoughts that you'd be thinking? And there's the emotion for me. And just breathe. Let that feeling, whatever it is, just for the feeling. This is all just for the feeling, just for the emotion. It's sort of like the inhale is the divine feminine, breathing it in, and the exhale is the divine masculine, charging it all, right? It's the magnetic on the inhale, the electric on the exhale. And it's not hard. And it's just going to get easier every time you do it. And you don't even have to ask the subconscious to do anything or the soul to do anything. It knows that even this moment is scripted. So you can't get it wrong. And it's all a learning curve. And if you like, here are some words that you could say. This or something better is manifesting for me here and now, under grace and in perfect ways, for the well-being of all. This or something better is manifesting for me here and now, under grace and in perfect ways, for the well-being of all. This or something better is manifesting for me here and now, under grace and in perfect ways, for the well-being of all. And so it is. And if you like, take a snapshot, a little mental snapshot. Take a few deep breaths. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, allow your eyelids to be the last things that move as you open them outwards. You become aware of your body, aware of your surroundings, and come back into the room. Chris said smells like opium, which to me is an Yves Saint Laurent cologne, which I have upstairs. It smells like opium. Yeah. I am a potion witch, so my mind immediately goes to cologne and perfume. Not that much of a druggie anymore, at least. You know, the 80s, long time ago. So how was that? When you get a little bit more oriented to this reality again? With incense. Lovely. Yeah, I was at the beach. That's my happy place. I'm a beach boy. I mean, I like the forest too, but there are no ticks at the beach. Well, except for them deer. The pines, the Fire Island pines were my favorite places on planet Earth. I love the pines. I used to be a Cherry Grove boy, but I grew out of it. I like the quiet of the pines. All right. That was great, right? Because you weren't trying to make something happen. Right? That was a great movie, right? It took the work out of it, right? It's like, I gotta manifest something. Oh no, I gotta visualize. Visualize. Give yourself a headache. No. Third eye cramp. No. Chill, right? Chill. Take the work out of it. But now the thing is that, okay, I'm going to do that 3 times a day, every day, facing north, and I'll turn around 3 times and spit over my left shoulder and stick a lip and match up my nose. No. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it secret. Keep it safe, right? Keep it simple. KISS. Well, keep it simple. Stupid is that's keep it simple, spirit. God, I can't take myself that seriously even to say that. But yeah, well, I'm sure in New Zealand, that's because Kevin Sorbo used to walk on those beaches. That's why they're so beautiful. He still is beautiful. I don't care what he's been through. He's still beautiful. I love Kevin Sorbo. In a world of ancient gods and kings, a princess forged in the heat of battle. Sorry, I went all Xena on us again. Okay. Okay, Grace, I saw you retracted some words there. That's okay. That's okay, honey. I would love to go to New Zealand. I really do want to travel. I want to teach and travel around the world, man. I used to do it in my 20s. I used to do it for Starborn Unlimited. Yeah, look up that organization. I used to be an 1111 angelic awakener. Starborn Unlimited. My boss was named Solara. They named a Toyota after her, which I love. Oh, that's my revenge. That's my revenge. She made me wear white after Labor Day, which I think them naming a Toyota after her is probably the karma she deserves. Yeah. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I just became friends with a young lady from New Zealand through Wim. Oh, Wim Hof. Oh, we love the Wim Hof. We love the Wim Hof. You know, the only reason I checked him out is because I thought he was cute. So yes, even my homosexual proclivities are part of the divine plan, apparently. Which also, by the way, makes me a completely Me Too free zone for every woman on planet Earth. The men I do my best with, but you know. That's why women like me. I mean, I'm an embodiment of the Greek god Dionysus, who's surrounded by Maenads, mad women. Wow. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, it's so warm in my home right now, especially with these candles right here. So, ladies and germs, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's our Leo moon thing for tonight. I'll do something tomorrow morning. We'll do a little prayer, a little something, something. We'll see what the gods inspire. I am going to bed. I'm going to go pop out my contact lenses, snuggle with my kitties, maybe read a little bit. Because tomorrow I'm making some videos like I do. Yeah, it was really my pleasure doing this with you again. And maybe we'll do this again tomorrow. Maybe we'll do you do a whole other different scene. You don't have to do the same thing every time. You are so welcome, Chris. I really love you all so much. And when the world is in its new, healthier, more stable arrangement, maybe that's something we can put some energy into, is all of us meeting up. Even if it's all individually, you know, we can stream to the Angelo Lyons Mal for Short Facebook group. That could be fun, right? Thank you all so very much. It is my honor, Donna. It's my honor, Donna. That's the most Long Island accent thing I've ever said in my life, except for walking the dog to the mall for coffee. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I love you all so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, I really have to remember when I talk to my mom tomorrow, because she worries about me. It's just what she does. I said, Mom, I'm an empath. Just hit me in the head with a brick. It's faster. But I'll say, you know, Mom, I know you're worried about me being alone, but I'm going to say to her, why don't you go watch some of the streams that I did on YouTube? She won't. You know, I think it makes her uncomfortable, and that's all right. I get it. I get it. She's watching her big boy, well, her youngest too, on top of it, right? But I love you all so much. So thank you so much for helping me through this, and I'm glad it is a symbiotic soulmate. You know, if we're all helping each other heal, that makes us all soulmates. That makes us soulmate family. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed of the evening, my darlings, my loves. But for now, say it with me so you are doubly blessed. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be. Night, night.